Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this fun-filled edition of DEADPIT. I am Uncle Bill.
And I'm the creepy Kentuckian, if you will. And today, we're going to go back there, Uncle Bill. It's going to be a lot of fun because we don't do a whole lot of these oldies but goodies. And throughout the history of DEADPIT, I think this latest revival last few years is when we've reviewed the majority of these old Rondo award-winning movies from yesteryear. And it's another one of those. Our buddy Dumile, the Baller and Shotcaller himself, requested this one.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting one for a bunch of different reasons. But it's from the 50s, 1957. It's a British film called Night of the Demon, with the U.S. title being Curse of the Demon.
Curse of the Demon.
I think at this point, Night of the Demon is probably the worst title you could have, because there's Night of the Demon, the Bigfoot movie. There's Night of the Demons, the Kevin Tenney movie. And there's Night of the Demon now, this one. So,
well, this was the OG, though. But, like, I think a lot of the times it's known as Curse of the Demon, right? So that's
in the
how
US,
I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a British movie, and then Columbia Pictures bought it in the U.S. And it is an early example of, like, a cult horror movie and a folk horror, kind of. So I think the most famous thing that this movie is known for is the imagery of the demon itself. For 1957, this is phenomenal what they do here. I mean, for any big budget Hollywood movie, anything at the time. So I wasn't super familiar with the movie, but the one thing that I thought of when he requested Night of the Demon from 57 is the look. I'd seen photos, the covers of the DVDs and Blu-rays and everything all featured that demon. So that itself is pretty legendary in horror films and just movies in general.
I'm not sure what the inspiration was for that demon. I'm sure, like, if you watch, somebody has to have this movie out where you can, there'll be a featurette or something on it, but it looks very much like it was inspired by those Asian, like, the masks and stuff of dragons that they wore and things like that. Like, that's what it looks like to me.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it definitely has that look to it. Like, something in like a Godzilla movie, or, I don't know, something in a Japanese parade.
Yeah.
Big dragon floating around. But
it's a wild movie, though, because it deals with, like, the occult. And that was not really something that I think was that common in 1957. In 1957, that would have been more along the lines like the nuclear kind of, big bug movies and space movies and things like that. Not something that deals with anything as serious and kind of satanic as this movie does.
This was way before the satanic panic era.
Yeah.
57, I mean, hell, you're thinking like Leave It to Beaver was still on the air in 57.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is definitely a far cry from like what later, in the late 60s throughout the 70s and everything, the cult movies, the witchcraft, Satanism movies and stuff like that. So this is probably one of the, maybe, I don't know. This is 57. So they were making talkie films for nearly 20 years at this point, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, but this one, it's a pretty basic plot. Dana Andrews plays Dr. John Holden, who is traveling to attend this conference of the paranormal, Uncle Bill. He's initially very skeptical, and he's going there to basically debunk them. He wants to put them in their place and be like, "Hey, you guys are full of shit." Right.
That's what he wants to do, yeah.
And his protege, Professor Harrington, dies in a strange accident, Uncle Bill. And Dr. Holden meets up with the professor's sexy niece, Joanna, played by the legendary Peggy Cummins.
Fuck, what a name. Peggy Cummins.
Isn't that? Wouldn't that be a good name for a porn star? Peggy
It
Cummins.
probably is a name for a porn star, yeah.
Somebody Google the name Peggy Cummins. But yeah, those two investigate the satanic practices of devil worshiper Julian Carswell, played by Niall McGuinness, who has the most English name of all time.
He does. No, McGuinness. Yeah. That's pretty British. I'll give him that.
And yeah, he's a kind of a friendly guy, but he's devious, right? In the 1950s, if you had a goatee, you were kind of evil, right?
Yeah, that was how you knew that somebody was the heel.
He has a goatee. Holy shit.
Nobody has a goatee. He's fucking evil as hell. And then you
Yeah.
got Henry J. Longfellow III, who plays
Right.
in this.
Yeah.
He's
Is Googie Withers in this? That's your favorite.
Googie Withers is not in this one. I don't know why.
Where's Googie at?
Yep.
Interestingly enough, though, the director, I can't pronounce the guy's name.
It's French, so don't worry about it.
Jacques Tourneur.
He
did a couple
cat people and walk with the zombie.
Yeah, a couple other classics, which we did Curse the Cat People. That was the follow-up. But yeah, Cat People from 42 and I Walk with the Zombie from 43. This is primarily the movie he's known for, though. Night of the Demon from 57. It's known as his best film. And it's also Martin Scorsese's favorite horror movie. Did you hear this?
Yeah, I did. And I can kind of get why when you watch it, because it is incredibly atmospheric and has incredibly good cinematography, especially for a movie made in the 50s. Like the 50s was not, people didn't really refine the skill of cinematography until probably the 70s, like the mid to late 70s, really, like where that really became like a big thing. But for some reason in this movie, and I'm not sure why, maybe because it's British, maybe because like they just got lucky, but there's some really good acting in this movie. There's really good cinematography. Nothing in it really doesn't work. There's nothing really hokey in it. Even the demon looks good for that time period and doesn't really come across as that.
There is one hokey scene in it, though. I thought it was really hokey, but I was entertained. So there's a scene where Dr. Holden breaks in to Carswell's apartment or wherever it's at, right? And he's got a little putty cat there just hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
And the putty cat, with Carswell's black magic, turns into like a cheetah, and literally the actor, like they do have a cheetah in like one scene, right? But not with the actor. The actor is holding like a fucking stuffed animal and jerking his head.
Oh my God.
But it's 1957, so I'll forgive him for that. But it was kind of, I mean, to me, that sort of thing's kind of fun.
This movie, though, it does contain all your typical kind of things that would have been going on around that time. So you got a seance, you've got hypnosis, you've got like all the usual trappings of horror movies, I guess, that would have been going on around that time too.
Well, there's a curse. So Carswell puts a curse on the doctor where he only has like so long to live, and the doctor has to find a way to reverse the curse. I guess that's pretty much
just like the fucking Boston Red Sox. Yep.
What'd you think of this movie, though? I mean, I being 100% honest, like I didn't fall in love with this movie like I thought I would, because this has like a 7.1 on IMDb. It's heralded as a classic. I mean, it's very well made. There's great cinematography in it. The acting is really good. The effects with the demon are super impressive and everything. But this just wasn't a movie that really gelled with me very much, honestly.
Can you imagine, though, watching this movie in 1957 and like those scenes where the smoke and stuff appears and then the demon comes out of that? Like, people had to be shitting their pants at that time.
Oh, I'm sure.
That had to be terrible. I hate to see that.
For the time, yeah, like I said, like super impressive effects. I don't even know really how they did some of that shit for back then. So, yeah, I mean, you got to put it over for that. But as far as just pure entertainment and me, like certain movies I'm totally into, like Curse of the Cat People, I was totally into it from the 1st second. You know, the Innocents is another oldie but goodie that we enjoy. And this is, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie, but it just didn't gel with me like I thought it would when I heard about it and was reading the plot synopsis.
Yeah, I mean, we watched another one called Fiend Without a Face that was like an older sci-fi movie that I really, really loved. But I agree, like this one was not, I really respected it though and kind of like liked it for what it was, because for a movie to be made at that time period and have that much kind of ahead of its time stuff in it and to flow the way that it did. By the way, it's only like 80 some minutes. So that makes it a lot more enjoyable because they cut out any of the fat that was in it. It just goes straight through, like, you know, all the different scenes from one plot piece to another. But you're right. There's something that I guess it's just where we're from a different era, maybe. Like a lot of that stuff just doesn't connect with us that would have connected, like, to really scare people back then. It just, you know, seeing a guy that's dressed up like a fucking wizard with a goatee just don't blow my skirt up. I don't know.
Yeah, we're looking at what is it? Nearly a 70-year-old movie at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it just, I think with certain audiences it wouldn't connect. It is aged very well though. There's only that one scene with the stuffed animal cheetah that was kind of hokey. Everything else, I think that's, you know, considering its age, it holds up pretty good. So, I like I said, I kind of respect the movie, but is it one that I would voluntarily go back to and rewatch? No, probably not. But it was definitely an interesting one. I had never seen it before. So
I respect the fact that they did a movie about satanic cults back in the 50s. I will say that for sure. That's just so bizarre to me that they would turn that into a movie at that time period, but they did, and we've seen it.
Well, I think evidently it was probably, you know, the English version came out in 57 in Britain, I guess. So it was probably a success, and Columbia Pictures was like, hey, let's pick this up. And, you know, they brought it out the next year. So that more than likely that's what happened with it, I'm guessing.
Did you enjoy Stonehenge?
Sure.
That makes a guest appearance in this movie.
Was he really at Stonehenge, or was that a set?
I think that had to be a set. Or they may, I mean,
it was 57 though. How do they?
It was.
Yeah, how do they do it? They could have. Yeah,
I guess so.
Depending on, I don't know what country that was technically made in, but I don't know. But yeah, I guess that is it for the review, guys. Curse and or Not of the Demon from 1957 or 1958, depending on what version you watch. It's one that, hey, if you're into classic horror, you will definitely want to add it to your list to check out. But hey, you know, for me, hey.
If I had to like rate it, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, that'd be about where. Yeah, I think it'd work there. But that is it for the review. Again, this was requested by Baller and Shotcaller Dumile over on DEADPIT on Patreon. We appreciate it, man. We have been behind on some of the reviews, but we're catching up, baby. We're catching up. It's summertime. Getting to be summertime, baby. And we're getting it all caught up for you. So we will catch you guys next time at DEADPIT. I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
Do you hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to bring greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.com shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. You know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Here's what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So deadpitonpatreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50. The stock market's crashing around us, folks, but send us money.